hello everyone. Welcome to Real Estate with Ryan. So excited to be with you on a Saturday talking our favorite topic. What is that? Real estate in the East Tennessee housing market. It's a great Saturday. I hope you're enjoying your weekend, and thank you for spending your time with us. As always, if you're tuning in for the first time, you say, what's that show? What's that guy talking about? Well, that's Real Estate with Ryan, where we cover the housing market here in East Tennessee. It's one of the best places to raise a family, grow older, retire, hey, maybe even start a new family, or if you're relocating from another state, it's where you call home. And we've helped so many people do that over the last couple of years. And so we do this show to have fun, talk about topics that are pressing topics in the housing market, things that are important as the ever-changing housing market is always kind of like the stock market, right? Stock market's up, it's down, it's all over the place, kind of like the housing market as we're going through 2025. And if you're tuning in for the first time, you may catch us always on News Talk 98.7 at 1 o'clock. You can catch Real Estate with Ryan there. And, of course, Talk Radio 92.3 FM. We're on at 11 a.m. And, of course, we're streaming live on their Facebook channel as well. So social media, we're there, Facebook, Twitter, which used to be Twitter, now it's X, Instagram, YouTube, and, of course, Google, iTunes, and all those different places. So in case you miss us, out doing a little ball game, I know we've got a big weekend there. We've got things going on. You can always watch Real Estate with Ryan replay there on our social channels. So, got a good show for you today. Talking about the housing market, go figure, right? How's the housing market? It's spring. We're here. A couple days away from Easter, and the housing market is picking up. In our office, we've been extremely busy. Multiple contracts, multiple things moving. Market not moving as quickly as we would like, but we're seeing movement. Obviously, if you're watching the stock market, what's going on there? Busy week in the housing market. Everybody was watching their 401k and the stocks go down and holding on to the roller coaster. And then we come back and have one of our best days. And, we're Dave Ramsey supporters and one of his trusted agents in town. And so I'll mimic what Dave said. I thought it was a good topic. And Dave said, the only one gets hurt on a roller coaster is the person that gets off too soon, and so if that market goes up, the market goes down, just stay on the ride. So I found that odd that I listened to those comments, and then, we watched the market go down. I go, well, I'm glad I didn't sell everything. And then the next day you go, 1,800 points down. We are on a roller coaster. So that's kind of the housing market. One of the biggest things we're dealing in the housing market in East Tennessee and the Knoxville housing market is affordability. Nothing's changed. Not here locally, and across the country we're dealing with. So we're watching the 10-year note. We're watching the interest rates. Fed came out the other day, and I think that there's signs that they may make some changes. But on our show, we're not going to predict that. We don't really know. I did get a chance to kind of look at interest rates today, which is most important for everybody. So if you're thinking about in the spring market where we know most of the inventory is on the market coming in the next couple of months, you want to take advantage. Rates now, and this was effective on the 10th, 30-year, 6.62, conventional loan, 5.82 for a 15-year mortgage, and that's conventional. There's different rates, and FHA and VA, we won't go into all those. So take advantage of it. The market's here. More inventory to select from now than we'll see in the coming months. So take advantage of it. April 18th through the 20th, or through the week of April 18th through the 24th, is the best time to buy or sell. Don't ask me why, but I think a lot of that has to deal with curb appeal, seasonality. Kids are going to be getting out of school. That's hard to believe, not long. And people are making those plans. Showing a property just this weekend. We've got some couples coming in from Virginia, and it's a doctor coming in town. They're timing, they've closed their property, and they're looking to make a purchase here for school. Gets back going here in August. So a lot of things in the housing market. Got a good show for you. As always, we're talking about purchases. We're going to talk about everything you need to know about inspections. And then on our second half, we'll talk a little bit about, as we're looking for our new home, our forever home, what you need to be looking out for when you're buying a home in 2025. I know some of that may be repeat, but as we get busy in the cycle and things are moving and shaking, I want to make sure we cover that. Home inspections are coming up a lot in our industry. In my business, I'm seeing more homes fail inspection, renegotiate, and have issues. I can't tell you how many my team and us put together that we sell the property quickly and it comes back on the market with inspection. Not that the inspection maybe was earth-shattering, but buyers now have more concerns. They're more list. If we're dealing with an agent on the other side, what does that mean? Well, they're working for the buyer. We get that. That also means there's more potential that deals fall through. And buyers are being a little bit more unreasonable on their request because they see a little bit of a shift in the market, which, to the buyer's respect, you have to understand it's been a seller's market for a long period of time. And so buyers are now becoming more negotiable. And so when you put the home on the market now, you really have to understand. And that's why we encourage having a great agent in your corner and that can help you from start A to B. We know that buying or selling a home is one of the most stressful things you can do. Trust me. I'm involved in it all the time. And what you want to make sure we do is get a right agent working for you, but go through these home inspection items. And we'll cover some of those things today. So hopefully help you on your journey if you're thinking about purchasing this year. Now, this will go to investors. This also will go to homeowners as well. So whoever's thinking about buying, what an inspection is important for you. What is a 4-point inspection? Typically, an inspection is done where the inspector will create a comprehensive written report, usually with a lot of photos. So if you do an inspection tomorrow, they'll usually have the report to you the next day, and they'll lay out any minor or major issues with the home. They typically will email you the report and, of course, highlight on the big problems. You can negotiate a lower price, ask for those items, and one of the major things that they're looking for in the inspection is, of course, our roofing, right? Our electrical, our plumbing, and our HVAC. They examine the systems for like installation when it was built, properly installed. We're dealing with one now, which was an HVAC or one of our great sellers and buyers. And they have that old refrigerant. It was an R22. And so one of the things that you need to be watching out, we're dealing with now to help them, is R22. They don't really make it. The HVAC guy says that people have it, but you got to call around and find that. So you have that older unit that's a 15 or 16 years old, and we're trying to get the expansion on that, so we need to get the R22. These are things that we have to be working on. When I get off the phone or show today, we'll be working more to help our clients find that R22. So things like this come up that are very notable on your inspection. The difference on the HVAC on this particular property, we've got to find something that will be comparable or find that R22. If not, it's got to be a brand new unit. Things to think about. Maintenance. Is the proper units being maintained? A lot of our sellers, we're going to get them to make sure that they're maintaining the units. If they're older, we want to get a receipt. We want to make sure that they're doing these things. Is it performance? How long does a home inspection take? So if it's your first home or it's your fifth home inspections usually take determined on the size of them. No home is perfect, obviously. The older the home, sometimes it could take longer. But typically a home inspection, depending on the size, will take probably about 2 or 3 hours. These are things that you want to look at. And yes, question I had that is, do property inspectors need a license? And that varies really from state to state. Most of the inspectors here have taken training and licensing and typically carry a $500,000 general liability insurance. Again, each state is different. One of the biggest things is I've got several clients in the construction field, or they know that is it okay to do your own home inspections? We don't recommend it, but again, you can do your own inspections. Keep in mind that our purchase and sale agreements in the state of Tennessee do require an inspector or somebody that is a contractor that has looked at the property. So if you want to exercise a clause to say, hey, the home didn't meet these criteria, or there was rotten joist, or that roof, Ryan, was leaking, and I didn't know that, and we've kind of shopped that for a budget replacement, and it's not going to meet the criteria, so I'm going to avoid the contract. So make sure we have a contractor, or you get with your agent to make sure that those things are taken care of properly so that there's no kind of issue with an escrow or release there. How do you find an inspector? It's easy. We can help you if you're working with us. We can give you some recommendations. Of course, there's several sites where inspectors are certified and has certain criteria and certain training I would recommend. But get somebody that you're comfortable with and has good recommendations and good reviews. That is a big important. Home inspection is going to vary. Ryan, how much does a home inspection cost, and is it worth it? I think it's one of our best things that you can do. For a house that is typically, $2,500 to $3,500, you can probably spend $400 or $500 in inspections and pests and things like that. And so these things come up, and we're winding down on this. We got more to talk about. Second half coming, Real Estate with Ryan, right after the second. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the break.
Knoxville and East Tennessee. The region is known for its rolling hills, rivers, and lakes. There's no better place to work, live, or raise a family. Home is where your story begins. Buying or selling your home is a big decision, and you need a real estate team you can trust.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty, your hometown experts. Whether you're buying or selling a home, let us develop a winning game plan for you.
Hometown Realty is East Tennessee's #1 real estate group and a proud sponsor of the Vols.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty. The real estate market's changing every day. You need to know your home's value in today's market. Text your home address to 290-2290 for an instant, no obligation home evaluation. That's 865-290-2290. And remember, when you're ready to sell, we have a guaranteed sale program to get you in your next home stress-free. Trust your hometown experts. We've helped thousands of people just like you. All right, we're back at it, Real Estate with Ryan. So excited to be back on a break. It's a crazy weekend. I think everything's picking up the real estate market. And before I get going in the second half, I got some congrats. I got some new listings. We've been busy over here as the housing market is starting to pick up. It's just that time of the season. In our industry, it is all or nothing. It really is. And of course, our team, we know Fridays are busy days. It seems like our Mondays are busy during the week, but Fridays, bless it, my team. They're always working so hard for our clients, and here's the weekend. And let's talk about what we've been doing and some congrats. All right, new listings this week, 307 Timber Creek Road in Maynardville. Beautiful little rancher there. Got an offer already on it. Not accepted, but that's not going to last long. New listing on 2125 Cascades Court, Sevierville. Great investment cabin there. Price to sell. Make sure you check it out. Don't forget new listings coming soon on Red Hill Road out in Andersonville. That should be here in the next couple of weeks, so watch out for that. And one in Knoxville, 848 Dorset Drive out there in Hardin Valley. That's going to be on the market soon. Congrats to our great seller out there in Newport, 2233 Nations Road. Great seller. Congrats to go under contract there. Luxury home out there on 90 acres. Super excited for him. And, of course, 58048 Solar Drive went quickly with multiple offers. And 2186 Bingham Island. This might be the third time's a charm. Poor thing. We've had some financing issues there. Great past client, and we're just excited to get this closed out for my great seller there. Congrats on some closings here. 2434 Grandview Court in Kingston. Great condo over the water. As the market is heating up, guys, make sure you check out Grandview Court. We've got 3 condos left out there. Beautiful condos, waterfront view, very private. I've got 2 in the low 500s. I've got 1 that's upper in the mid-8s. Make sure you check it out. RyanColeman.org, Grandview Court. Beautiful condos out there. Only 3 left. Make sure you check them out. 629 Cummings Chapel Road in Sevierville. Congrats to those sellers getting that closed. Congrats to our buyers and sellers on Hinchy Hollow Road, 809 Hinchy Hollow Road in Newmarket. 309 Brown Run Road in Gatlinburg selling. Congrats quickly. 704 Blueberry Ridge Way in Pigeon Forge. Congrats. And then 8209 Tamarack Road in Rocky Hill. Congrats to our great sellers, past clients. And 320 White Plains Road in Vonore. Closed it out in record time. We've been busy. So as you can see, the market's changing a little bit. And happy to help you if there's anything we can do for you in this housing market. So hopefully we don't go like the stock market. But let's think about it. If you're thinking about selling, we're talking about purchasing now. But if you're putting your home on the market, you may be thinking, well, where do I start? Where do I go? Obviously, you can go to our website. We got several advantages there for you. We've got home evaluations free of charge. Look them up. You can do it online, or you can call or text. It's totally up to you. Our website's ryancoleman.org. Maybe you're a texter, like the young generation who like to text. I've got a number you can call in. Our team works 7 days a week. This will be licensed agents. We'll run the numbers for you, and we'll get right back to you to kind of start that conversation, know where you're at. Not everybody's ready to have Ryan out, or we have that opportunity to have an agent out to have that conversation. You know, it may be a couple months out. But as the market's changing, it's so important to have a baseline and know where your market and your home is. That way, when we can watch the market, we can keep you up to date and know somewhere where you're at to plan, have some goals. So we've got a number. Write it down. You can text your home's value. All you got to do is text me your property address, and we'll get back to give you some preliminary numbers. Phone number is 865-290-2290. 865-290-2290. Text me your home's value. We'll get that to you. Again, don't charge anything for that. We just want to help you start that process so we know where you're at during the season here as it's changing. So it's predictable. Let's get back to home inspections. So we're talking about purchasing. How important a home inspection is. Should I get one? What's the benefit, Ryan? And one of the things that's most important for my conversation carrying on from the first half of the show is don't skip your home inspection. If you ever get a good estimate for an inspection, the price may be more than what you're planned for. And you may be tempted to skip the inspection. Save a little bit of money. Almost 40% of people who bought a home in the last 5 years say the cost of the inspection or the idea of locking in a lower overall home price were their reasons for skipping a home inspection. You know, it's some of the best money that we've ever met. Our investments that we've paid, apartment complexes, short-term rentals, our own personal residence that was new construction. It's so important. And I know there's mixed reviews. You know, I have sellers all the time. It says, well, we're home inspectors. They've got to earn their keep. They got to find something. And that may be true. That may be true. But there's a lot of value going through an inspection and knowing what's important and what's not. And not every inspector is the same. Some guy may miss something. We're all human, right? But overall, good inspection is going to cover a lot of these items that we talked about, our roof, our HVAC, mold, if that's going on, or any kind of safety issues. It's very, very important. And building new construction is no different. We've got some of the big tract builders in the area, and you're watching those properties being thrown up overnight. And you think just because it's new, that nothing's wrong with it. Well, there could be several codes violated, framing. We've heard nightmares about some of these tract builders. So a home inspection, even though it's a couple $100, is your best investment moving forward. Make sure you don't skip your home inspection. What are some red flags for buyers moving forward to watching our home inspections? Outdated wiring. Just went on one the other day, and we pulled the panel box. We're getting it inspected, and it said it was rejected by the state. So had a rejected sticker. It was in there. So those are things you want to make sure we check out. They've got these old panel boxes. I think it's Electric Pacific. Don't hold me to it, but they're fire hazards. Some of the older hazards. Some of them still have fuses in it, guys. These are things that you want to watch out for and budget for replacement. Foundation damage. Sometimes we see cracking. We've had several deals in the Smokies, right? Come up with foundation issues. It's very common. Shifts, pools, cracking. Make sure you check your foundations. That can get costly real quick. Septic tank issues. Make sure you're pumping your septic tanks and make sure that you have a full inspection on it. Unfortunately, the only way to get an inspection on a septic tank is it will need to be pumped. And, you know, as a buyer, you start looking at all the costs and expenses. You know, we could purchase a property and be out $1,000, $1,500 inspections. Trust me, it's your best investment that you can make before you purchase one of these properties and spend $500,000. And then now you got into your forever home, and now it's a money pit. You have all these things to fix. You got your roof, you've got electrical, if you would have done an inspection. So water intrusion, it's a small thing. You think water, no big deal, but it can get costly. And it wreaks havoc on homes. And the presence of mold, if it's not taken care of, it can just go on and on and on. So make sure we're checking those items when you're making a purchase. If you're not working with us, make sure your agent's recommending that you do a home inspection. A lot of our contracts are templated for 10, 14 days, or you can negotiate the times. But these are so important moving forward, and make sure you allow enough time to do that. And the peak of the season, everybody's busy. We just called some HVAC people the other day, and it is that time, right? Our April's parents, their HVAC's out. Looks like they're going to be Easter with us. And so all these things where the HVAC people are backed up to even get to it. So make sure you do your homework there and understand that supply and demand does come into play with a lot of these contractors as well. Sellers, what can you do to go to market? Do you need a home inspection? Is there things that we need to check? Just because it's a fixer-upper, if there's something there that's concerning, that may be the deal that doesn't go through. You may go through 2 or 3 deals and say, hey, this is becoming an issue. We'd be better to cover it on the front end and know who to call for advice. Obviously, in the housing market, I really say this, we do this show all the time, and it's not just promoting agents, but I think in our marketplace, having a team is so important. And having a great agent in this corner have great vendors, great teammates that really do a good job, save you time. And that's what you're doing when you're hiring an agent. Have somebody that's been there, done that, had that situation, and that can help you. When you're looking for a home, things to look for is a roof condition. Obviously, roofs are expensive. Things have changed. How old the roof? Is it a metal roof? If it's shingle, is it 3-tab? All these things come in. HVAC. We're dealing with these warranties. I'm not a big fan of them, and this is typical when, some of the agents in our town want to promote, warranties. And we don't ever really do that. And the challenge is when you purchase an HVAC, you have the HVAC and they have a life expectancy. And so a lot of times these warranties are wanting to see your HVAC or your home inspection. So make sure you have it serviced. Make sure you have it checked before getting a warranty, or the paper may not be worth what it's written on. Plumbing's a big issue moving forward. And of course, we talked about water damage and so much more. Have a great inspection. I hope you've enjoyed the show as always. Enjoy spending time with you on a Saturday. Hope y'all have an amazing weekend, and we'll see you back next weekend. Have a great weekend.